kind of taking you guys through the eyes of your customer, and then we'll touch on the parts and pieces and some of the hub benefits as well. So here is kind of an agenda and everything. We want to definitely make it easier for contractors to get on and off jobs. So with Vive, they can work smarter and not harder. So I'll show you that in a couple different scenarios. And Vive is our commercial wireless system that's perfect for meeting energy codes and meeting energy codes and saving energy. I'm so sorry. So it's a great system. We can use it standalone or make it a bigger, broader approach with the hub. So we'll talk about why you want to start with lighting control in the first place and then move on from there. So here are some energy codes across the US. They're becoming more and more stringent as years go by. So in most of Texas, it's IECC 2015, with the exception of San Antonio at 2018. And that is definitely going to keep upgrading. I think the next version of IECC will be matching more of ASHRAE with the controlled receptacles piece. So definitely want to keep a lookout for that. But because all of these energy codes are constantly changing, Vive is a good way to be able to adapt quickly to the changing codes in many different applications that you have across commercial jobs. So definitely be on the lookout for that, and I'll address how some of these parts and pieces can help us satisfy the code requirements as well. So why lighting control? We have different parts of the building that we can definitely help with lighting control. So kind of a different spin that maybe you haven't thought about is this 33300 story. So $3 per square foot is the cost of energy in a building. So obviously we can save energy by directly impacting the amount of light we have in a space with lighting controls. But then there's also a statistic that every watt of lighting saved saves so many watts of cooling load as well. So it impacts your HVAC. Then you can also do peak demand and load shed with the hub on Vive. But so energy is just one piece of the puzzle, right? Then $30 per square foot is all of your operations, what it costs to actually run the building. So with lighting controls, you can learn about space utilization and occupancy, but also reduce the cost of maintenance by having alerts pop up when maybe a fixture goes out or an occupancy sensor drops off the system because the batteries died. And you can integrate your lighting controls with the whole building management system to have a more streamlined approach for facility managers. So that's how lighting controls makes it easier to run the operations of a building. So does anyone have an idea of what the 300 might be? Okay, I'll give you a hint. So 300. Oh, what was that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. So it's going to be the people. So the people in this space are the most valuable asset, right? And we want people to be more comfortable and more productive and have control over their environments. So personal control is definitely an aspect of it, but we also want people to have a connection to the outdoors, and daylight harvesting we can do with lighting controls and really take advantage of that daylight. So that's going to be how lighting controls can really impact all aspects of a commercial building. But lighting control really just makes people more productive and more comfortable and happier in the space that they're in. So that's more of our human-centric lighting message, which I can share with you guys at another time or later on. But definitely we want to promote lighting control in a space besides the code compliance standpoint. So for electrical contractors, for y'all's customer, skilled labor is definitely a limited resource that we have, right? Then everyone's being pushed to finish jobs faster, and there's changes that pop up through the process, but also codes and customers want to have their say, right? So Vive helps solve all of those solutions by installing faster. So wireless installs 70% faster. And then we can also overcome the unexpected with Vive. So if anyone says, oops, I forgot one, like a switch on the wall, I'll show you how it's really easy to overcome that with Vive. And you guys probably already know how that could happen as well. Then doing more with less. So that could be less time, less people, or less information about a job or a space. So really helping these guys work smarter and not harder. So this is a tool to empower your customers to grow their business and win on more jobs. So sorry, I'll move this Teams guy over. Okay. So yeah, Vive Wireless installs 70% faster than wired systems because of our picos and our sensors. There's just so much less that you need to do. No need to pull wires from fixtures all the way down the wall to a switch when you have a PAL pack. So I'll go over the load control options in a second, but here is a PAL pack. So hopefully y'all can see me. The PAL pack just ties right into a junction box right at the fixture. So no need to pull low voltage wires if you have 0 to 10 volt dimming that way, or pulling the wires down the wall to the switch. You can just use a pico. So really, really easy. And no cutting a back box. Usually there's I meant to have a slide, maybe it comes later, but there's a slide of like all the tools that you need to typically carry out a job, and you only need a couple of them for Vive. But here's an example with the PAL pack in the ceiling.
How many conductors are number 3?
Was that a question for me? Sorry, I didn't quite hear.
Conductor? So it's 3 number 3s with a ground? Is it
3? I'm so sorry.
Not sure if you can hear it better. He said 3 number 3s with a ground.
3 number 3s with a ground. You'll have to forgive me. What is a number 3? I'm definitely like new to the industry, but trying to grasp it.
He's talking about the wires.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So is number 3 the type of wire?
The size, yeah.
The size. Okay. Yes. So super easy there. And all of the wireless is the Clear Connect communication. So I know we've talked about that before, but 30 feet through construction and 60 feet open air is what we guarantee. Obviously, we've seen it go a lot further, but all of that is going to be reliable wireless, and it's GSA approved. So the government is having wireless and our Vive system in lots and lots of their buildings and spaces. So it's definitely going to be safe and reliable for whatever jobs that might come y'all's way as well. Oh, here's the tools and stuff. So yeah, don't need the back box and the extra switches and the Ethernet cables. No wired sensors. So definitely a good call. Then say, so here's a classroom. If the classroom has 2 entries, right, and there's only a switch at one of them, and someone says, oops, I forgot one, then it's really easy to add that Pico with the wall box adapter to the wall. So I've got the wall box adapter. I know y'all saw this probably last week, but yeah, the wall box adapter, super easy to hook up, can go on any surface. It doesn't need to be in front of a back box, but it can be if you just cap off the wires as well. Was there another comment? Sorry.
I think I got it. The only thing I might have in stock is it'll be a number 2 or a number 4 with a 3 conductor.
Yeah. Awesome. So the
I could look at his chart real quick and tell you.
yeah, that would be great. So
honestly, I've never seen a number 3 in that. Yeah, normally, because I mean, it's normally made for like residential use or something like that. So a 4-3 and a 2-3 are common. I've never seen a 3-3.
I heard like half of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the 2-3 and a 5, but I've never seen an actual a 3-3.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like in a black cable, and you have 3 conductors, number 2 with a ground.
Yeah.
And number 2 is good for about roughly 100 amps.
Okay. Yeah. So pivoting from there, if no matter what the wire situation is, you can make it work with the wireless. I'm so sorry, I'm not more familiar with the pipe and wire aspect, but yeah, so being able to be flexible on a job is really important, and Vive can help contractors really achieve that, and stay on track. So here is just a little diagram of maybe what people would be able to accomplish or install, on the orange side if they are doing the typical wired, basic retrofit or construction. You could do maybe a few rooms in a day, right? But with Vive, you could get the whole building with the same team, just because it installs faster. So getting on and off that job, and being confident that it went well and you'll be able to get to the next thing. So definitely that time is money factor is applicable here. And Vive, it just works. So Lutron is backed by our whole organization, all of the engineering that goes into it. Here's our founder, Joel Spira. So for those of you who don't know, he invented the solid state dimmer in 1959, in his apartment in New York. So that's definitely a success story there. But as far as the support from Lutron and our products, all of our products are 100% end of line tested. So before they leave us at the factory, they are tested and guaranteed to work before they're shipped out. So that that turnaround is very, very quick but effective, right? So we developed the first wireless system in 1996, and that was for residential with our original Radio Raw system. And the stipulation by our founder, he was really strict and wanted us to perform well. He said wireless needed to be as reliable as any wired system, and that's how ClearConnect came about, that low frequency that's good for penetrating through construction. Then that the 434 megahertz that we are at is FCC regulated, so most others are not playing in that same radio frequency realm, like Zigbee or Wi-Fi or any of the other wireless protocols are going to be higher frequencies. There's some at like 900 megahertz and some at 2.4 gigahertz is Wi-Fi typically. So all wireless is not created equal. And just some of our stats. We've got 20 years in wireless starting from that 1996, so it's definitely reliable. But if you ask contractors why they buy a system, the top reason is going to be availability. So you guys do have Vive in stock, the PAL packs, some of the Maestros, and definitely aux sensors and picos. So keep that up, maintain that stock in your branches so that it's available for these guys to just grab. But if it's not, we have 2-day lead time. So all of these items are really heavy hitters and really quick moving. So we're always producing them. But here's the parts and pieces aspect. So first, your load controllers. So I showed you the PAL pack. There's 0 to 10 volt options and relay options. So this one right here is a relay. I don't have it plugged in, but definitely good for switching or dimming applications. Then we've got Maestro Wireless is going to be your main guy for forward phase or reverse phase dimming. So these will still mount in the wall, but then they're wireless to talk to the sensors and any picos that you want for a 3-way application. So definitely a good option. It's the same Maestro as you see in most of the counters, but wireless version. And then that picture on the right is this guy. So it's a Vive integral fixture control. So if you have a project that's a brand new construction or redoing all of the lighting, maybe they consider this idea. So this little piece is the dimmer, but it also includes an occupancy sensor and a daylight sensor on each fixture. So this allows for personal control of the space and less devices needed overall for really quick and easy installation. So once you have your load controls figured out, then you can go move to sensors. So the ceiling sensor, really easy to install. It's got 2 holes right here. So it's a glorified paperclip basically that just shoots up into the ceiling tile and you twist it off on the other side. And then it just attaches really, really easy. And then there's a test button here to make it really simple to make sure your coverage is good. So all of these sensors use our passive infrared and XCT technology. So really low threshold for detecting fine motion. and it's detecting a change in heat as well. So this orange light is indicating that it's seeing me. So you can place it where it's planned to go and make sure the orange light is on and it's it's detecting you. But then you can also move it around and adjust as needed. So each of the sensors has that feature. So this is a wall mount, or there can be a little mounting piece for the corner. There can also be hallway version. So the hallway shoots down and can see 150 feet down the way. So definitely good options for the wall mount there. Then third step, right? Add daylighting. So for IECC 2015, a daylight zone with more than 150 watts needs to have some sort of control on it. So this allows for continuous dimming throughout a daylight zone. So when you have ambient light coming in from that window, you can take advantage of it and dim the lights in the space. So this sensor, this is the sensing portion. So I've got a window over here that's like 6 feet tall. You would put this on the ceiling facing about the center of the window or the facade, and about 1 to 2 times the height depth inside of the space. So if it's 6 feet, I'd put it 6 to 12 feet away from that window on the ceiling. So definitely really easy to use and just slap on there. Then Pico remotes for any of your other controls and 3-ways, and POW packs. You have to be able to control your POW packs somehow instead of climbing in the ceiling to dim the lights, right? So that's where the Picos come to play. So the Picos and the sensors, all of the sensors, have a 10-year third-party verified battery life. So you can believe me if you want, but there's also a white paper on it that another company verified that we have 10-year battery life. And that's due to the Clear Connect and the small packets of information that's transferred that way. But these are all really easy batteries. So the Picos and this guy are going to have similar to a watch battery. In the Picos, it's a CR2032. So you can get all of these batteries like at Walgreens or order them off Amazon, right? So really easy. Think about it every 10 years. This Vive system came out around 2008 when building new construction was really slowing down. So a lot of those systems that were established in 2008 have not seen batteries yet or are just replacing their batteries, and it's 12 years later, right? So it really is 10-year battery life. So then you can also have all of these items standalone and program them and pair them together really easily with button press programming, but also you can add the hub. So we'll talk about some hub features, but that's going to be this guy. Ignore the plug. There's actually a power supply up here, but this is going to be flush or surface mount on the ceiling. And that's going to be your brains. It has Wi-Fi internally, and I'll discuss that in the next few slides. But that's as easy as Vive is. Like it doesn't get more crazy than that. So Vive is really easy to set up. When you have the hub, you can use any PC or smart device to pull up the app and programming. And a lot of people say like, hey, if you can play Candy Crush or like scroll through Facebook, on your phone, you can program a Vive system because it tells you step by step what to do with pictures as seen here. So really simple button press programming if it's standalone, but if not, you can use the app to really, really crank through jobs. So I know a lot of contractors can do it, but a lot of distributors as well offer the programming. So I don't know if that's something that you guys currently do, but definitely super easy to get a hold of. Then,
hey Alex, I was going to ask, are there? I assume there are easy videos on the Lutron website going over programming and stuff like that for the Vive app and the remotes.
yes. So lutron.com/Vive videos actually takes you to our Vive YouTube channel. And there's programming videos and yeah, how to pair picos and sensors and all sorts of things. So the marketing team has done a really good job putting all of that on YouTube. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Vive is also really cost effective. So if you guys are partnering with contractors to get some bids out, you can bid lower to win the job, but have more profit. So this is just an example where the Vive bid is $20,000 lower than the wired bid, but the labor is so much less. The labor is what allows you that $25,000 profit margin because it does take less time. You can still like charge basically like the same amount, but you just get out so much faster. And then material costs are competitive with other solutions on the market. But the picture on the right is like a wired sensor, ultrasonic dual tech sensor, compared to just the battery operated Vive sensor and how that looks behind the scenes. So Vive is very scalable. So simple to start in a single office. So a single office, you could have a PAL pack, an 8 amp PAL pack for 0 to 10 volt dimming, a sensor, and a pico on the wall or on the desk. So that could be a single space. And then it's really easy to add on and expand into the floor or multiple floors. And we recommend, if you want the hub, that would be probably one per floor. It covers 10,000 square feet. So definitely a good option there. And you can network hubs together as well. Vive is really secure. We have our Wi-Fi network built in, so it doesn't have to tap into any of the building network. So it's not going to be a way to leak any information from y'all's server. It's just all internal. So it was designed intentionally that way. And like I mentioned, the GSA approves it. So that's the biggest landowner in the country. So definitely a good partner to have there. But if you have questions about security, there's definitely all sorts of IT that we can get into with customers. So we have people dedicated to those conversations that we can pull in when installing the systems or when planning out the systems. So here are some of the hub features. So one of them is a time clock. So you can schedule based around hours of the day or sunrise and sunset. So it's an astronomical time clock. So it'll be consistent throughout the change of the seasons. We just went through daylight savings, and it can adjust so that people never arrive to work or arrive to a facility in the dark. If you have these lights come on maybe an hour before sunrise or 15 minutes before sunrise. It'll always adjust throughout the year. Then there's live energy monitoring. So the picture right here is the Vive app. So you would log in to the hub's Wi-Fi, and you would be able to see live energy monitoring. You can see a broader system, see your whole system with multiple hubs using our Vive View software. So that's a different interface, but all still available to have actionable data. Then demand response and load shedding. I don't know how often we see this around like the Texas and Louisiana market, but during those peak hours when demand for electricity and power is high, you can do the load shed by a certain percentage and have a plan for how to execute that with the lighting. Then alerts. So our most recent software update or revision to Vive is to have alerts that are sent out to facility managers and pop up on the app when a fixture falls off the grid, or maybe batteries are running low in a pico. So that makes maintenance really easy because you can locate that fixture, pico, or device that's being called out and go to it and troubleshoot or change whatever you need to change. So you're not having to go around and do the frequent maintenance.
Hey, Alex,
Yeah.
on those push alerts, do you know what's the max number of maybe accounts that can receive those alerts?
I'm not sure if there's a max number, but so this interface on the app, you would log in to see the alerts, but you can also sign up for email alerts. So I'm not sure how many people can receive email alerts, but I assume it's pretty flexible. I'd have to look into that and get back to you. But yeah, so really a lot of benefits with the hub if some of your customers do want that. And integration with BACnet. So there are three tiers to the hub. So there's a starter hub, which is HJS 0 is the model number. That's going to be the one that's available through Stock and Flow. So would just be sitting at your counters and picked up for day-to-day like small jobs. So that one has the capability for 75 devices. Then the standard hub is the HJS 1. That one is 700 devices. And the premium hub, HJS 2, is 700 devices plus BACnet. So BACnet capability, all of the BACnet is native in the Vive hub. So there's nothing lost in translation there. But you can integrate to all of your building management systems. And then there's contact closures on the back of the hub for that load shed as well. So really good options to make that a complete package for any facility managers. And when you use the app to program, all of its cloud backup automatically. So you aren't going to lose any programming, and you can change, obviously update the programming at any point in time. So definitely a good option for spaces that need to be flexible as you're adding to the system as well. So here are some testimonials just from contractors, and this is pretty much all across the country. I forget which one is local to Texas, but one of them is. I have a feeling it might be the Zetro, but I'll let you read those. People figured it out without training. It just works. Easiest commercial system commissioned ever. Wireless really saves time. So that's just from contractors all over the country. Then we've also got case studies if you want to see different applications where Vive is applicable. So this was in Texas, a school district that had a really, really tight deadline during the summer to get some renovations going. So really easy for education. Here's higher education in a historical college up in Pennsylvania. So they didn't want to cut out holes and run wires for updating lighting. They just wanted to be able to keep the integrity of the space in those really historic buildings. Then California, this bank, you can see it's pretty modern design. So aesthetics, we were able to mount some picos on the wall on glass or with metal faceplates. So that customization piece is still available with Lutron inside of the Vive system. And it was in California, so really stringent codes. So you can see how Vive can make it easy with those really tough code requirements as well. Then if anyone's concerned about wireless in healthcare or in a medical facility, here's an example in Seattle of a hospital. Then I don't know if people realize, but the Empire State Building is mostly Vive or does contain Vive. So there's that story as well. So all of these are on lutron.com/case studies, I believe. But if you Google Lutron case studies, that's like all that pops up is going to be that page. Because I did it the other day, looking for some residential ones as well. But here are some tools. So if you guys haven't seen Questy and Designer, I know we're running a little bit short on time, but Questy is our quick estimating tool. So if people are really pushing you for a number, you can make an educated number with the model that's designed in Questy, and it takes all of about 5 minutes, depending on how many details you have for the project. But that really allows you to go through and be confident in a number, and that's list price. So that's not going to give away any danger of y'all's pricing or anything. So that's list price. So it's going to be probably higher or cover you in that scenario. So you can access this at lutron.com/questy, but also it'll ask you to register after you complete a few projects. That way you can save projects and just to really be able to dive in deep with that. And it provides a bill of materials and lots of documents for you to support after you fill in all of your information. Then Designer is going to be a software piece to actually lay out the systems yourself. So Designer has rules built into it, so it'll tell you which devices are compatible, which ones you program together and pair, what the wireless range or what the occupancy coverage of devices are. So really, really helpful tool for anyone in y'all's organization that is quoting or designing projects. So we pretty much went over that, so I'll skip these couple of slides. But you can also Google how to where to download Lutron Designer. So the most current up-to-date version is on our website, and you just download it from there. Then Lutron always has 24/7 tech support. So if you guys need an answer to a question, you can always feel free to reach out to me or the reps, but also there's the 24/7 tech support line, especially for your contractors who are trying to get through jobs. So definitely a good opportunity there. That number is 1-844, and then the rest of the digits spell out Lutron1. So really easy to remember, and there's a good support site as well. So that is all I have for you. If you guys have any questions about Vive, I can take them, but thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your Thursday.
Thank you, Alex. If anybody needs to contact you, what's the easiest way these guys can get a hold of you?
Yes. So I can send out my email address. I had it on a slide here, not on this presentation, but another one. So I apologize. Or I'll throw it in the chat, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work as well. And then while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and get this raffle going on here.
Awesome.
Ugh, not that guy. All right, congratulations, Mr. Parker. I'll contact you with your Uber Eats info. And if anybody has any questions or concerns or anything, just reach out to me or Alex here, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all, for participating. I know this was a multi-session thing, so thank you so much for coming back and participating. I appreciate it.